All right, hello again now for two people. So today we're going to do some algebra. Being established in algebra class, that's a good thing. So we're going to look and see how we can write an equation of a parabola, quadratic equation, if the only thing we are given is a vertex and a point. There are other ways we can write this. So like if we're just given three random points or even a collection of data, we can do that also. We're going to do that more tomorrow, and that's more calculator driven. But today is going to be all by hand. So if you know the vertex and just another point, how could we do that? Well, the first thing we do is let's do a quick review of what vertex form is. And this is something you should know kind of off the top of your head at this point. So we know vertex form is y equals a parenthesis x minus h squared plus k. Right? But look, if we know the vertex, that's hk, and we know a second point, that would be an xy, all we need to do is solve for the a value. Right? Because we can just plug those values in that we have, do some algebra, find out what a is, and then we can write our equation. Okay? The one thing to keep in mind, remember a can be positive, negative, fraction, anything is kind of fair game on this. And when we write the final equation, we want it to be in terms of x and y. We're still going to have the vertex in there, kind of normal vertex form. And that's what it's going to look like at the end. Okay? So I've got 4 examples here. I'll do a couple of them and I'll let you pause the video and you can do the last 2 just before you start working on the assignment. And there is a short assignment in today's folder as well. So again, if you have the vertex, we know that's always going to be h and k, and then some other point would be x, y. In this case, they're the same number. That doesn't have to happen, obviously, but in this case, they are. So again, use your vertex form and just put everything into the right place. So this is going to be 7 equals a, 7 minus 3 squared minus 1. Just kind of double check that, make sure you put everything where it's supposed to go. And now you just solve for a. You might be able to do, some of you guys might be able to do this in a fewer number of steps. I'm going to kind of go through kind of methodically, one by one, just make sure you can follow along and see what we're doing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to combine those guys inside the parentheses, kind of doing my PEMDAS. So that's going to be a times 4 squared minus 1. 4 squared is 16. So that's going to end up being 16a minus 1. Then we can just, again, algebra to get 1 by itself, or sorry, to get a by itself. So we have 8 equals 16a, divide by 16. So a in this case would be 1 over 2. We're not quite done. We found what you wanted to find, but now we're just going to write the final format of the equation. So again, the x and y are going to be there, always going to be in terms of x and y, but now we're just going to plug in the a. So it'd be 1/2 times x minus 3 squared minus 1, and that is your answer. We have written the equation in vertex form, which is totally fine. For this parabola going through vertex of 3, -1, and another point. Later on, we're going to see, and you may know how to do it already, honestly, just from your Algebra 1 days. But later on, we're going to see how to write this in standard form also, but that'll come up in about a week or so. Okay. How about number 2? Same deal. So again, we have h and k, and we have x and y. So if I write that equation out with everything that I know, I have this. And again, just go step by step on getting a by itself. Last step, divide by 4. So in this case, we have a is equal to -4. Once you know a, write your final equation. negative 4 times, and we can write that as x plus 2, and then plus 9 on the outside. And there you have it. So I'm going to go and scroll down. I've got 2 more examples here. And if I'm going to ask you to pause the video. Let's see, can I get to it there? Not quite enough. I'm going to ask you to pause the video, write down those points, find those 2 equations and the a values, and I'll go through the entries here in just 1 second. All right, so hopefully you found those guys. Let's check your answers, see how we did. So there's HK, X, and Y. So we have 38 equals A times 3 minus the negative 1 squared minus 10. And I can see when I wrote these questions that I was kind of obsessed with the number 4 for some reason, but I'm not sure why that is. We have 48 equals 16a, divided by 16. A is equal to 3. So my equation here will be y equals 3 minus 10. And then number 4, last one. Oops. HK and XY. So we have negative 5 equals A times 3 minus 9 plus 1. You can just do the algebra. So my equation is going to be y equals negative 1/4 parentheses x minus 9 squared plus 4. That's going to be 9. So that is how you write an equation if you're given a vertex and just a second point somewhere along the parabola. Tomorrow and Friday, we're going to look at how to do this if you're just given 3 random points, or like a big collection of data that you want to model and make prediction for. If you have some questions, as always, speak up, send me an email, come to tutoring. Until next time, stay safe.